Welcome back. All right, so we are 10 days out from the trade deadline. No action to report yet today, but that may change later today. We'll see. So we'll start off with Ottawa news. Cam Talbot's been activated off of the IR. There were questions asked about why they weren't picking up a goaltender when both their goalies got hurt. I would say that the play by guys like Mandalese and Sogard show the future of goaltending in Ottawa is really bright. That being said, Talbot being back is good news. Talbot's been playing well this year for them. And so, yeah, do you keep Sogard or do you keep Mandalese? I don't know who they've sent down. It doesn't really matter. Talbot's going to get a lion's share of the starts, you would think, from here. And yeah, hopefully he's 100%, didn't rush himself back, which is what some are saying about Cale Makar. Cale Makar is in concussion protocol. This is troubling since he was coming back off of an injury, and now he's in concussion protocol. He's out at least until this weekend. So, whereas before it was, well, it's day to day, and we'll see. This one seems to be a little bit more serious, a little bit less along the lines of the day to day thing. So, with Makar being out for Colorado, that is huge. As I've mentioned, though, with Colorado, too, they've been playing through injuries all season. This is nothing new to them. They'll tell the press, they've told the press today, too, that this is kind of how they're used to dealing with. There's always going to be other guys out. So they're doing their best to soldier through while Makar's out. Keeping in mind, of course, they're still missing Landeskog. They're missing Eric Johnson. It's definitely a team that's gone through its share of injury problems this year. Speaking of which, Mark Stone put on the LTIR by Vegas today. Vegas's name has started being mentioned again. It's funny too because on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, I'm trying to remember which big name they were talking about. But at the tail end, they said, "Yeah, I'm hearing Vegas," and it just kind of is like a tail off. And it's like at this point with Vegas, you kind of have to assume that every time there's a big name out there, they're going to be calling about it. And with Stone being placed on LTIR, it opens up the cap space for them to be able to add at the deadline. So we'll see what they do and who they might add. But I would not be surprised to see Vegas dangle their first round pick and other items out there because the West is wide open. The West definitely looks ready for the picking, or ripe for the picking, I should say. And so, yeah, we'll see whether or not Vegas decides to jump on that and pick somebody up. In the case of Stone's injury, he's going to be out for quite some time. So I don't think there's any concerns about him being ready to go for the playoffs. And yeah, if Vegas adds, that could potentially be huge. And we'll see what they do at the deadline because, yeah, their name is starting to get out there again. And Stone being put on LTIR frees up that space under the cap for them to go out and get somebody else. David Pagnotta, his roommate, is stating that he has a source telling him that the Bruins are basically they have a trade in place with Columbus for Gavrikov, but it can't be finalized, so the trade's not done yet. So the room is still there for somebody to swoop in and get Gavrikov, but that Boston needs to move money out before they're going to acquire Gavrikov. So apparently they're looking to move money. He's saying that Craig Smith could be that piece that they're looking to move out. That contract I think they've been looking to move for some time. Around the deadline, that might be easier to move that contract than it was before. But for Boston, if they pick up Gavrikov, especially if they don't lose anybody off the roster, and Craig Smith's been good at times when he's been in the lineup, but he hasn't been a regular player for Boston. He was even cleared waivers and went to the minors at one point this year. But with Gavrikov coming in, if they don't have to trade anybody out, that really makes that blue line absolutely ridiculous. This is a team in Boston that's been winning and putting up points at a record pace, or near record pace at the very least. And yeah, adding Gavrikov I don't think will hurt. Keep in mind, he wouldn't be playing top 4 minutes. In all likelihood, he'd be a fifth, sixth defenseman. And I think for Boston, picking up some depth on the blue line would be a good idea. I get the feeling that the asking price for Chychrun is too high. I really do. I think the asking price for Chychrun is too high. One thing with Arizona, of course, is they're not on the board, but I could have put them on the board. Craig Morgan asking Andre Tourigny today about whether or not they're going to play Chychrun in tomorrow's game, and he was non-committal. So if we see Chychrun go back into the lineup for Arizona, that to me indicates he's not getting traded. And they have no reason to drop their asking price because they can get it around the draft. They can get it around free agency. They can still move Chychrun at a later date and get back quite a good package for him. If they don't see something they like right now, it makes sense to put him back in the lineup and say, we'll just wait until after the season. Yesterday, Mark Jankowski placed on waivers by Nashville. He did clear today. One reason that's on the board today is because now that he's cleared waivers, if you are a team that wants to trade for a depth player, if you trade for Jankowski, you do not have to waive him again because he just cleared waivers. So this improves his tradability if you're the Nashville Predators. You don't even need to send him to the minors, just trade him straight out. And that team can then either move him to the minors or whatever they want to do. But for Jankowski, it's too bad because at times this year with Nashville, he's looked good. I'm saying at times, but that's the thing. You get that with Jankowski wherever he's played. At times, he looks like a pretty darn solid player. At other times, not necessarily quite as much. Now, what's interesting is Mark Stone is on waivers, or not on waivers, on LTIR for the Vegas Golden Knights. Michael Stone has been placed on IR by the Calgary Flames today. They've called up Walker Duehr. So without Michael Stone, that hurts. Stone is a player that I've never quite understood how he's a free agent as long as he is, and why Calgary keeps inviting him to camp and he has to earn the job. I think he's earned the job. I think his play this year has been really good, but with him out of the lineup, that's going to take that shot out of the lineup too. I do like Walker Duehr at points as well, so we'll see how things go for Calgary. But Stone being on IR, not the best news you're going to hear as a Flames fan, but it's there. Vancouver, Demko, the return apparently is very close. That's what Rick Tocchet is saying. It's and basically just non-committal about when, because people will try to nail you to, well, which game? And you don't want to say, well, he's not going to play tonight in Nashville, but we think he'll be ready for the next game. Because then if he's not ready for the next game, there's going to be a lot of, why wasn't he ready? You told us he was going to be ready. The other thing, too, is today on Donnie and Dolly, there was an interview with Bruce Boudreau. I have to say, Boudreau, great guy. Just that interview isn't going to do anything to diminish what anyone thinks of him. Just a great guy. He could have taken shots at the organization. He could have taken shots at the players. He didn't take shots at anybody. Thanked everybody for the opportunity. The interesting thing was, he was asked about fans in Vancouver, and he said they're very passionate. If you're losing, they'll let you know about it. And when he was asked about JT Miller, he said JT Miller's a lot like the fans in Vancouver. He hates losing. He wants to win. He wants to win all the time. And that's a big part of the reason why we see those emotions. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. JT Miller's a one that I've heard his name a lot about whether or not he might get traded. I can't see it. I just can't see him getting traded. I think that the Canucks have opted to go in with Miller and sign him to that 7-year extension for right or for wrong. And I don't think he gets moved at the deadline. Could he get moved in the summer? Maybe. With the salary cap going up, though, I really don't think that contract is going to age badly, because as long as we see the salary cap go up, it's not this summer it's likely to go up, it's likely to be next summer. I think it'll be fine. Other conversation, too, around Vancouver was whether or not Pettersson could get to 100 points. I'll say yes. I'll go ahead and wager yes on Pettersson getting to 100 points, for considering he has to stay healthy and all that. But, yeah, for Vancouver, again, it doesn't feel like it's as much of a tire fire as it was, say, a month ago. And, Demko coming back. I'm in favor of him coming back. I've seen people say shut him down for the year, but why? I don't understand what that does. If he's healthy, he's able to play, then you want him to play. And the way he was playing before the injury, he wasn't playing well enough for them to win games then. So I'd like to see him come back, and I'd like to see Thatcher Demko from last year, just from here on. And we'll see. We'll see if that is in fact the case, or if he continues to struggle. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And one question. Who would Vegas be in on now that the LTIR money's there? Which player would Vegas be pointing to and saying, that's the guy we want? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.